Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We are your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 6, The Good Samaritan.
Yeah. So, Mariah, how was your week?
So first of all, yesterday I went to a music festival that my boyfriend played.
Ooh.
It was down the bayou, which will make no sense to anyone not from South Louisiana. But, yeah, I got a nice sunburn on my shoulders. But I got to hang out with his mom, and that was nice. It was fun.
Aww.
But also, I have been absolutely reeling from the new Taylor Swift album.
Yes.
I'm raw. I'm emotional. I'm pissed off at my own ex. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
And, additionally, before we pressed record on this episode, we talked for about 15 minutes about our thoughts on the new album. So if you want to hear that, you can go to our Spotify page or, what's it called now?
Spotify for
Spotify for podcasters.
Yeah. Oh
you can go to, like, I don't know the website, but go see and subscribe.
Subscribe. It's what? It's $3 a month.
Yeah.
You can just pay the one time, listen to that, and then be done, and that's okay. We won't be offended.
Yeah, and we're fine with that. So how was your week, Caroline?
It's been pretty crazy, actually. Other than the new Taylor Swift album. But yeah, so my apartment has been, we went like a week and a half without AC. And during that time, someone threw a rock through our window for no reason. Everybody's okay, luckily. It would have grazed like right over where Juliet, my cat, sleeps. So I was pretty pissed about that. But she's okay. Nobody got hurt.
The dogs didn't bark?
No. They didn't react at all. They only react when there's something outside of the window. And that's only if they're in that room. Yeah, David was the only one that heard it. And yeah. It was very weird. And we weren't the only ones that got hit either. There was at least one other unit that, like, they put rocks through, like, every single one of their windows, which was shitty. And then also apparently some cars got hit too. Like, they smashed the windows in people's cars, which is super shitty because the apartment isn't going to pay for that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I still don't... They actually still haven't fixed the window. So, yeah, I don't know why that happened, or when it's going to be fixed. So.
That's crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you, friend.
Thanks. We're all good. Everything's fine now. But yeah, that's all.
All right.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right, so this episode was written by Jeffrey Bell and directed by Billy Gearhart.
I know those names.
Yeah, they're familiar. The title of this episode is a reference to the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
I almost didn't include that because I was like, oh, everyone knows that. But that's a very Christian-centric point of view.
Some people might not.
Look up the parable of the Good Samaritan. It's a nice little story.
Yeah.
Even if it's from the Bible.
Sometimes the Bible had cute stories.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I haven't read that one in a while. So,
yeah.
Maybe there's some weird turn in it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's some, like, subtle racism or something. Isn't it like Samaritans are, like, supposed to be, like,
there is racism
against Samaritans? Yeah, people discriminate against Samaritans, so that's why it's, like, so, like, oh my god, whoa, it's a good Samaritan. Never mind.
Not not a cute story. Oh, wow. Anyway,
Alright,
so
who do we meet in this episode?
we have no new characters in this episode.
Nada.
Not a one. Anyway, so let's crack into it.
Yeah.
So we start off with a flashback to Eli, Joe, and Lucy when they were originally working on the project at Momentum Labs. Eli was ready for a very normal day at work when suddenly Joe has everyone gather around to witness his breakthrough. He was able to create carbon matter out of nothing, which, for those of you who don't remember your 7th grade science class, that's impossible.
Eli Morrow mentions the first law of thermodynamics, which states that energy cannot be created nor can it be destroyed, but it can change from one form into another.
Yeah. So everyone else is like congratulating Joe and celebrating. They have champagne. But Eli stays to the side, very quietly suspicious. Lucy goes over to him and he asks her how they were able to do the scientifically impossible. Lucy is a little champagne drunk at this point and starts to say that they had help from a book. But Joe overhears this and then very condescendingly tells Lucy to basically shut the fuck up before then telling Eli to mind his own business. But obviously that doesn't happen. So back to present day, S.H.I.E.L.D. is finding out about everything that Lucy did at the lab, all the agents that she killed, and Fitz recognizes that she's taken some cables and connections and other stuff. So she must be recreating the experiment and trying to unghost herself. Gabe is trying to call Robbie's boss to see if he's been at work because Gabe hasn't heard from Robbie in several days. Which, oh my god, that must have been so scary for him.
Yeah.
Isn't Gabe's like 16 or something?
I think he might be college aged at this point. So like
Okay.
maybe like 18, 19.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused about their ages.
Yeah, they don't really specify, and even when they go into the past, it says back in the day. So
Yeah.
And back in the day, he was studying to get into college. So
Right.
I just figured, because didn't they mention that he takes classes and he takes the metro?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. But that must have been very scary for him.
Yeah.
But his call is interrupted by Daisy showing up at the house to take Gabe to Robbie, but not in a car. So Jeff is commanding Simmons to go on a mission for the U.S. government. He gives her no other information except that they want her because she's the leading expert on Inhumans. He won't even let her pack or say goodbye or tie up any loose ends in her actual work. She has to leave immediately and with a bag over her head, so she doesn't even know where she's going. I'm starting to not like Jeff anymore.
At least they let her put the bag on her own head.
True, yeah. That felt a little, like, humiliating, though.
Yeah. I can see that.
Anyway. So Gabe and Robbie are reunited in the cargo bay of the plane. Robbie thinks that Gabe has figured out his secret until Gabe says that he can't believe all this time his brother was a secret agent. That's so cool. It's hard to tell in the moment if Robbie is feeling more relief or guilt. Maybe both, at his brother being so excited about this, like, half-truth, less than half-truth.
Yeah, like a quarter truth.
But Gabe says that he's relieved because he's found blood on Robbie's clothes and in the sink before, and he thought that maybe Robbie's secret was something much worse. Daisy steps in for Robbie when he hesitates, and they kind of take turns telling Gabe that they had to bring him in for his protection since Tia Eli was taken, and they didn't want someone else to grab Gabe for leverage. Daisy promises that Gabe is safe now and they will find Eli. Eli and Lucy have almost completed their setup, but Eli says he's figured out why the last attempt failed. Lucy snaps that they were sabotaged, but Eli says that Joe did things wrong. He didn't have enough power anyway, even if everything went right. Lucy says they have plenty of power now, over whatever arbitrary number of megawatts. It means absolutely nothing to me, except as a Back to the Future reference. But Eli says that much power could kill thousands if they fail. But Lucy says that's not her problem. Which, with the twist later, that part feels weird now.
Yeah, like, did he really care?
Right. And if he didn't, why is he pretending to her?
Yeah.
That was, weird. Anyway, so Jeff interrupts Coulson's flight by coming up on the Quinjet to demand that he hand over the fugitives that Coulson is holding. The Inhuman, known as Wake, Wake.
Whoa.
The Inhuman, known as Quake, and an enhanced individual who can control fire. Which one at this point?
Ahead of the episode, Gabriel Luna had hinted at the continued conflict between Phil Coulson and the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Jeffrey Mace, saying, Coulson has been doing what he wants, doing his own thing, taking the Quinjet out for a spin wherever he needs to go. He's shooting from the hip with a lot of these moves he's making, and I'm sure that's going to rub the director the wrong way. He's bringing Ghost Rider in, who's reportedly a serial killer, so how the director's going to respond to that, we can only wait and see.
He did not respond well.
No.
So Mac hurries Daisy, Robbie, and Gabe into the containment pod, and Gabe is pissed that Mac is pushing his wheelchair. Rightfully so. You should never touch someone's wheelchair without permission.
Yes.
But Mac says he likes Gabe's moxie, though. Because Gabe was insulting him over that. Okay. But once they're inside the pod, Mac flips the switch so that the pod lowers below the plane instead of inside of it. Coulson meets Jeff as he docks to the plane and tries to act innocent, saying that Jeff is on a wild goose chase. Jeff asks if Coulson denies having them on the plane, and Coulson says, "Geese? Nope, no geese here. We are goose-free."
Little asshole.
I loved that line. Jeff just rolls his eyes and tells his agents to search the plane. Jeff ends up showing Coulson the photos of what the Ghost Rider did to Santino in prison and says that with everyone watching S.H.I.E.L.D. so closely now, they can't afford to have a murderer affiliated with them.
Jeffrey Bell acknowledged that Coulson wants to have his cake and eat it too, having decided to step down from the role of director himself, but still wanting to do what he wants. Mm-hmm. He said that they were mostly trying to tee up that conflict and give the audience time to get to know Mace before more thoroughly exploring that aspect in later episodes.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly it.
Yeah.
In the pod, Gabe, not our pod, their pod. Gabe is waiting for someone to tell him why they have to hide. Daisy is trying to lightheartedly get Gabe to relax and then lies for Robbie, but eventually Robbie says enough. He says it's time for Gabe to know everything, which is very scary for him.
Yeah. Luna said that the series' take on Rhea's origin story would mix elements from Philippe Smith's original comic with this new angle that we're approaching from, but that new angle still draws from the source material. He also felt the episode's approach to revealing the story by having Reyes tell it to his brother Gabe for the first time was really interesting and powerful, and the most surprising aspect of the script for him.
Yeah, I thought they did really well with it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little later, but yeah, that was really powerful.
Yeah.
So, we get a flashback of, as we said earlier, back in the day, of the night that they got shot. Robbie is quietly pushing his/Tio Eli's car out of the driveway when Gabe catches him. Robbie says that he's racing again, someone he's already beaten, but who wants a rematch, someone from the 5th Street Locos. He asks if Gabe wants to come with him, and oh my god, this man is so fucking beautiful. Like, his smile is so incredibly beautiful. If he smiled at me the way that he does in this scene, I would also do whatever stupid thing he wanted. And so he convinces his very academically ambitious baby brother to come racing with him instead of doing his homework, which is what a good role model. Gabe eventually agrees, and as they start driving, an unmarked van begins following them at a moderate distance.
Gabriel Luna, who portrays Reyes, explained at the end of October 2016 that the confrontation between his character and the last member of the 5th Street Locos gang in the episode Lockup revealed to Reyes that the accident that caused him to become the Ghost Rider wasn't just random, it was a hit. Somebody ordered that. These guys were just the guys who carried it out. There's a whole batch of new questions that Robbie has after that. In episode 6, we're going to find out exactly how it happened, and we may find out why later.
And we sure did.
Mm-hmm. We sure did.
So Fitz and May are FaceTiming, trying to figure out what Lucy wants now that she would... Trying to figure out what Lucy wants now that... Oh my god. Okay.
What Lucy wants now that she wouldn't have had.
Now that she wouldn't have had. Trying to figure out what Lucy wants now that she wouldn't have had back in the day. As they're talking, Jeff's guards barge in looking for Daisy and Robbie, and Fitz berates them until the door closes behind them on their way out, which loved that. May asks if he and Simmons are okay, and he says that he's worried about her because she hasn't been answering his calls today. And then suddenly he realizes that Lucy must need more power. I have no idea how he came to that conclusion.
Sometimes talking about something else like frees up the real estate in your brain. That's what I think, at least.
Sure, yeah. So Gaby, whoa.
Gaby.
Gaby, baby. Gabe asks Robbie if he still feels guilty about the night that they were shot. And then we have a flashback again. They're driving to the race site, talking about why Robbie never went back to school. He never wanted to be an engineer like Eli. But Robbie says he's very happy as a mechanic. He loves what he does. But then they stop at a red light, and the van in front of them opens the back door and throws fire at their windshield. Robbie tells Gabe to stay down while he gets them out of this, and then he swerves around to get away from the van and then get the flames off the windshield. And then just trigger warning because the next part was very hard to watch. But so as they drive over a bridge, another car follows, catches up to them, and then opens fire through the driver's side window, hitting both of them. Robbie's car swerves and flips and then catches fire as the shooters drive away. Gabe says that he was awake and he saw Robbie lying on the ground several feet away from the car. Gabe couldn't move his legs and he thought for sure that Robbie was dead. And Robbie says that's because he was dead. That was really rough to watch.
Yeah.
Fitz is looking for Coulson to get access to some redacted SSR files because Lucy is at some place owned by a company called Isodyne. And Max says that Coulson is still with the director, but Simmons should have access. And then Fitz says, yes, obviously, but Simmons hasn't answered him all day and no one seems to know where she is, which was very concerning.
In March 2016, executive producer Marissa Tancharoen had stated that there was a possibility the season could continue the story of the MCU series Agent Carter in some way, given that Agent Carter was not renewed for the 2016-2017 season. This episode reveals that the Momentum Energy Labs group, introduced in the season and tied to Eli Morrow, is actually a successor to the Isodyne Energy Company from the second season of Agent Carter. Additionally, with the appearance of Johnny Blaze, the episode introduces that character to the MCU. The character had previously been adapted into the Sony films Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, starring Nicolas Cage as Blaze, which the series had otherwise been trying to distance itself from.
Interesting. I figured you would have something about Isodyne.
Yep.
Anyway, so Gabe says that he remembers a Good Samaritan who came. He pulled Gabe out of the burning car into safety and then went to check on Robbie, who moved, finally, showing Gabe that Robbie was alive after all. And Gabe says that he never saw the person.
The other Ghost Rider is only referred to as a Good Samaritan by Gabe in the episode, but the producers hinted with the character's design and an Easter egg in the previous episode that this was the Johnny Blaze version. This was later confirmed by others involved in the episode, with Luna later attributing the lack of on-screen clarification to legal issues.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. So Robbie says that this was the part that he had always kept from Gabe. He says that the Good Samaritan was actually the devil. And when Robbie was thrown from the car, he prayed and begged for Gabe to be saved, and then he died when he hit the ground.
To create the car crash that leads to Reyes becoming Ghost Rider, Fuse FX created a CG double of the car to flip, with a look-alike car also used to drag along the ground. A digital double of Luna was created to show him flying out of the car, which was merged with footage of Luna hanging from wires. Fuse FX also created Reyes' transformations into and from Ghost Rider.
That was a really good shot. Him flying through the air was...
Yeah. It was very powerful.
Yeah.
And then, like, trying to grab on to nothing, like...
Yeah.
Whew, I've never been launched out of a windshield, thankfully, but that seems very true to life.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what I would do. I would be trying to grab onto something.
Grab something, yeah. Ugh. Anyway, I got chills. So Robbie says that after he died, all he saw was darkness, until a voice asked him if he wanted to avenge his brother and himself. Robbie said yes, so the devil gave him the power of the Ghost Rider.
The writers felt like it would be more interesting if Reyes was given the Ghost Rider mantle physically rather than by making a deal with some disembodied spirit, and decided to tie in with an older idea associated with the comic character, in which the mantle is passed from one version of the Ghost Rider to another. They decided to show another Ghost Rider arrive on a motorcycle and hand off the mantle to Robbie, which Bell said promised more story to come possibly, whether now or later. It also plugged into the larger universe.
Yeah.
And Bell noted that the series always shows Reyes' transformations into Ghost Rider as painful, but when that is shown happening for the first time in this episode, he screams in pain like a maniac.
Yeah. Ooh, that was... It was so good, but so hard to watch.
Yeah. I knew you would love it, though.
Yes, I really did. I would watch literally just Robbie's story.
He should have gotten a spin-off.
Yes, he should have. Anyway. So Gabe is listening to this, and he is horrified. He asks if Robbie is the one who killed all the 5th Street locos. And Robbie says it wasn't him, it was the thing inside of him that desires vengeance, but that was the bargain. To spill the blood of those who deserve it so that Gabe could live. And Gabe is beyond pissed. He tells Robbie, don't put their blood on me. Which was so... Like, there's just so many emotions there, you know? Because Gabe is saying, like, I'm not that mad that I'm in a wheelchair. Like, I like my life. I'm fine. So, like, you didn't have to do that for me, basically. And also, like, don't make me feel that guilt that you made that decision on my behalf. When Robbie has been like, it feels like that's the only reason he was able to live with it, is because he was like, well, I'm doing it for Gabe.
Yeah. Oh.
So, rough.
Yeah. Robbie says the other guy in reference to his Ghost Rider persona, which is also the phrase Bruce Banner uses in reference to his Hulk persona.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's an interesting coping mechanism to separate it, to say that's not me. I don't want to do that or be that creature.
Yeah.
But it does live inside of me. That's a really hard line to walk.
Yeah.
And my therapist would probably say it's an interesting, it's probably a good way to think about, like, mental health and stuff. Like,
yeah. My first thought was, I saw an interview with Chapel Roan where she opened up about being bipolar, which was very, like, powerful for me, because I am also bipolar.
mm-hmm.
And she talked about how, especially with her, like, rapidly rising fame right now, that it's very important that she keeps Chapel separate from Kaylee, like, her as a person.
Yeah. Jeff and Coulson have made their way to the cargo bay of the Zephyr, and Coulson asks if Jeff is satisfied that the two Inhumans are not in the plane. I noticed that sneaky little word choice, Coulson. And Jeff did too, along with the missing containment pod. He says, I've been on the Zephyr enough to know that there's usually a containment pod in here. So one of his agents flips the switch and brings the pod back inside the plane. And then their faces as they, like, rise into the window was so
They're
funny.
like, oh, hi!
Hello! Oh, you were looking for us? No way.
What? That's crazy.
So Fitz rushes in to interrupt and asks Coulson to sign off on the redacted files, but Jeff takes the iPad away. Fitz tries to explain that this is more important than two fugitives. Coulson asks if Jeff can just look away for now, since they are technically contained, and Jeff says no, because Coulson lied to him, and so now he's going to be petty about it. And Fitz says that they need to move immediately on these files to find Lucy and Eli. That needs to be their top priority. Robbie hears them mention his uncle, and then Jeff saying that they have to turn the plane around and go to HQ, and Robbie is getting mad now. It's just rising, and there's no stopping it. He starts banging on the door, saying he needs to get to his uncle. Daisy tries to tell Robbie to stop, that they don't need anyone to be even more scared of him than they already are. But Robbie says he can't stop, because now the Ghost Rider wants out, and he can't do anything about it. So he changes into flames, and everyone watches in horrified anticipation as he continues beating on the door. Fitz explains how impossible it would be for anyone to break out of the containment pod as the Ghost Rider breaks through the door.
So here we have a goof. We haven't had one in a minute. I feel like I say that every time, but they come up so rarely now.
Yeah.
So
the show's been like, we're careful about it.
Yeah, they keep a show Bible for sure. Coulson tells Director Mace not to worry about the containment module, as no one's broken out yet, and it's held some pretty potent individuals. However, Guerra broke out in the previous season's Paradise Lost when he took over the Zephyr for Hive.
True. Didn't he break out because he, like,
No, he was levitating the seatbelt and
Yeah.
wedged the seatbelt between the doors.
Ah, okay.
Which is like a really stupid way to break out. Like, they really should have. That should not have worked.
It didn't make any sense. Anyway, so the Ghost Rider breaks out and he heads straight for Jeff, who holds his own for a minute before the Ghost Rider starts just wailing on him. Gazy, oh my god.
First Gaby and now Gazy.
Everybody's just something. I don't know. Daisy starts to pull Gabe away to safety, but he stops her and says that he needs to see this. Coulson sees Gabe's face and tries to get Robbie to stop, but he can't. Finally, Gabe yells for Robbie to stop, and he looks. He finally does stop. What's happening to my mouth? Finally, Gabe yells for Robbie to stop, and he actually does. But Gabe is disgusted and tells Daisy to get him out of there. I don't feel like this was the best example for Gabe to be, like, so disgusted by, because, like, Jeff was fine. He didn't even have a bruise. But no one's ever been able to get him to stop before, so, like, that was good news.
Yeah, I think so. But I also
not great to watch.
Yeah, I feel like after learning this thing about your sibling that, I don't know, it's kind of like Gabe's worst fears about what Robbie was keeping from him came true.
True, yeah.
And I think that anything violent that Ghost Rider would have done in front of Gabe would have had the same effect.
You're right. That's true. I guess we've been a little desensitized to it now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, so Fitz has found out that the company Isodyne was bought by the company Roxxon in the 50s, and they own Momentum Labs. And I remember a fun fact for mentioning Roxxon a long time ago, but nothing else about it. So
Roxxon is basically an oil company, shell company type thing, like a huge corporation like Exxon or something like that. That is like one of the big bads in the Marvel universe.
Okay, I thought so. Anyway, so Fitz finds the abandoned Roxxon lab that Lucy is probably using. I don't know how he decided that was definitely the one, but he was right. So so Mac immediately tells the pilot to reroute to the lab coordinates. And Fitz is like, should we wait for Coulson to convince Jeff that we should turn around? And they're like, nah. Which, speaking of, Jeff refers to Robbie as a terrorist. He says they cannot be associated with him, and they do not negotiate with terrorists. Less terrorist, more serial killer. But
yeah.
Coulson says that there's no way to contain Robbie, and also he's the only one who can do anything about Lucy, so they need him. Jeff begrudgingly agrees, but says that eventually Robbie will have to face consequences for what he did. But I don't know. Chill out, Jeff. Nothing happened to you. You got the equivalent of a slap in the face. Your own employees have probably done worse. Although can Jeff bleed?
I think so. I feel like there's only his superpower is super strength, which apparently always comes with resistance to pain.
Apparently.
But, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I do. It's pretty funny though that he got punched in the face by the devil himself.
The devil went down to Georgia
to punch Jeff in the face.
Yeah.
Eli is trying to work fast because he says that this particular abandoned lab was shut down for a reason and could blow at any moment. He says he tried to warn them all about that book, and Joe got everything he deserved after hiring those thugs that put Gabe in a wheelchair. Joe hired them? Oh my god.
Insane. And then, okay, we haven't gotten to it yet, but then the reveal later that it wasn't even about getting back at Joe for that. It was
right.
that he wanted the power.
Yeah.
It was just like beating up Joe was an added bonus for that.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck? What the fuck? So S.H.I.E.L.D. has arrived at the new lab, but unfortunately Daisy can't hack into the mainframe like usual because this lab predates the internet. So we ask the most ancient among us, Coulson, how did anything get done back in the olden days? And Coulson's like,
Mm.
And also May is very rude about Robbie coming with them after what he did to Director Mace. And I know I'm downplaying it a lot, but like, Jeff's fine. And this, saving his uncle, is the entire reason that y'all kidnapped him to begin with. So, yeah, he's coming. What? And as they said, he's the only one who can do anything about Lucy. So...
Yeah.
Why would you not want him to come? So the team is infiltrating the lab. Daisy on the plane running comms on injured reserve, which I guess her arms are still
healing. Yeah.
But of course the comms stop working. And then Coulson, May, and Robbie are found by Lucy. Robbie sends the others away to keep looking for Eli while he deals with her. And he tells her that Eli is his uncle. And she says, "Oh yeah, I remember you from the pictures. You must be Gabriel, like the Archangel." And Robbie starts getting fire in his eyes and he says, "No, I'm the other one." Chills.
That got me too.
Mm.
Like the angel. No, I'm the other one.
The other one.
I'm
Which
the devil.
I didn't think about it in the moment, but he also
it has a double meaning.
Yeah, the other Archangel. Oh, wow. That was so good. So Lucy says that the gang was not supposed to go after Robbie and Gabe. They were hired to take out Eli because Eli, I thought, Eli was rightfully telling them to destroy the damn book. But Robbie says that doesn't exactly make him feel better. Which, yeah. Because it's so much better to have left them without their father figure, which is what they meant to do.
Right.
Lucy says, "I don't care how you feel. I just wanted you to know why I'm going to kill him." And actually she didn't really tell Robbie why she was going to kill Eli, just that she was planning to previously.
Yeah.
And that it didn't work. Coulson and May make it to the main lab chamber, and they find the book. He sends May to bring the book somewhere safe. So then they are both alone now. Don't like that. Fitz and Mac have found the control room, but can't seem to turn anything off. I liked the line that Mac said, "It's not like we're idiots. I've built grids like this before." So they figure that maybe Lucy and Eli have a way to power everything with magic through the book. So Mac has an idea and goes to get the blackout bomb things from Miami to see if that will turn everything off. But the comms aren't working, so now everyone is on their own, and Fitz and Coulson are both in the lab on their own. Fitz is pressing buttons on the control room, and Coulson has started to venture inside of the actual chamber inside the lab. Ruh-roh. Eli finds Coulson, who tries to comfort Eli and tell him he's safe now and can come with S.H.I.E.L.D. But Eli just sees that the book is gone, and he tells Coulson to stay away from this very dangerous equipment, and then closes himself in the chamber, saying, "Why would I shut everything down when it's taken me this long to achieve it?" Whoa!
Whoa, big reveal.
Lucy tries to intimidate Robbie and finally walks through him, trying to leave him for dead. But Robbie grabs her arm, to her surprise, and he says, "Maybe I wasn't clear about who I am. How many innocent people have died because you were trying to play God?" And Lucy's like, "Me? No! Your uncle is the one trying to play God. Dun dun dun!" Apparently, Eli was the one who ghosted all of the other engineers at Momentum. He saved Lucy for last and ghosted her like Ratty Healy himself. He didn't actually care about Joseph playing God with the book. He just wanted the power for himself. Ah!
In terms of the season's overarching plot, Belle said it was important to tell Reyes' origin story in the episode rather than earlier or later, because it also reveals the truth about Eli, and they're very connected. He also drew comparison to Marvel's Netflix television series, which often wait to tell the origin story of their heroes later in the season using flashbacks, saying, "It kind of helps to know more about the character and be emotionally invested in the character before you then go back and show what turned them into this person." Mm-hmm. And so part of it was that if you just began with a guy and showed the origin right away, I don't know if it would have been as compelling. I don't know if it would have been as emotional as I think it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and especially because, like, you've been seeing Robbie be, like, so guilt-ridden and, like, he has this weight on him at all times, right? Yeah. And then all of us, after getting to know that character, then to see him from the before all of it happened, and his smile and, like, he seems so light and free was that's what's jarring, and that's what makes it, like, so powerful, because you actually you finally realize, like, how much he went through to become who he is.
Yeah. I imagine something like that would change you.
Yeah, I think. So back to present day, Lucy tells Robbie that he's just like Eli. They have the same fire. Not the same fire. But Robbie just says, "Nah, mine's worse." And then Lucy goes up in flames. Yeah. Ah! So good. He has the best one-liners. So Coulson tries to unplug everything, but he's too late because Eli's plan is already in motion. The power surges through the building, hitting Coulson, Fitz, and Robbie, and if this motherfucker killed them, I swear to God, I don't know what I'll do. I will be very upset. But they've disappeared. Eli steps out of the chamber and begins to create matter in his own hands, just like Joe wanted to do from the beginning.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
So Costa FX handled the energy blasts in the episode, and Pixomondo created the visual of carbon ore materializing.
It was cool. It was really well done.
The episode ends with Moro's villainous intentions revealed and several of the main cast apparently disappearing. Belle said that this was planned out as part of the season's storyline, and was something that the writers thought was a fairly compelling cliffhanger that would hopefully give audiences a reason to return to the series, which was scheduled to have 3 weeks off after this episode to avoid the 2016 United States presidential election and the Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh my god, that was then?
A piece of history.
Ah! Oh my god. What a time.
By the time the next episode comes out, or came out, it would have been after Trump got elected.
And the world had changed.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I remember that being a cliffhanger too.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I don't know where Simmons is, and now Fitz is gone.
Yeah. Fuck. Fuck. Damn. It is a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the post-content content. There's no post-content content. And I needed it on this one.
I know.
Oh my god.
I understand why they did it, because, but they could have put the Joe stepping out thing.
Yeah,
like,
that could have been
that could have been the post-content content. I understand why they needed like the cliffhanger of them like showing the lab and like they're gone.
Yeah.
And there is Eli with the carbon, but like, ah!
It's all the same. It's painful. Anyway, so overall thoughts.
All right,
First of all, Fitz and Coulson better be okay. Oh my god. I can't. Oh my god. And I know they are not killing off the love of my life, Robbie Reyes, right now. There's no fucking way. No way. No.
I'm not telling you.
I would be very upset. And also, where the fuck is Simmons? What the...
Truly.
Where is everybody? Okay. That's all. What about you?
I've got some Lanyap fun facts. And it occurred to me that some people, at least non-French speakers, maybe would not know what Lanyap means. It basically just means extra.
Just extra.
It's Cajun. I feel like one of my local newspaper when I was growing up used to have a section called the Lanyap that was just like, it's basically like miscellaneous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extra or miscellaneous. Anyways, so the episode also explores the idea that Reyes made a deal that involved becoming the Ghost Rider, and now he has this thing in him that wants to murder people, which Reyes is ambivalent about. Bell said that this is the main aspect of their version that grounds him in a sadness and a weight, particularly when interacting with his brother Gabe.
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze was originally intended to be the Ghost Rider of the series and would have been teased in the season 3 finale Ascension, but this was changed to a tease of the life model decoys once Marvel rescinded the series' ability to use the Blaze version of the character. The producers did not intend to explore Blaze beyond his brief appearance in the episode, but Bell did state that he was no longer the Ghost Rider after passing on the spirit of vengeance to Reyes, saying that there is a tradition within the comics that there's been many Ghost Riders, and our take on that was they're not simultaneously a tribe of Ghost Riders, but that it's past. That's as far as we're going to take that part. The character was portrayed, uncredited, by Tom McComas during filming.
Interesting. I do like the idea of like passing it on.
For sure. And Gabriel Luna said that the episode was the most challenging of the show for him to make, with the production involving night shoots, stunts, driving, blood, and squibs.
Yeah. Squibs, I believe, are the, like, to make the
little
gunshots.
packets that shoot out. Yeah, let me see.
It makes it look like you're getting hit with bullets.
Yeah, Squib movie bullet is what came up on. Yeah, bullet hit squibs.
Yeah, I can imagine this one would have been pretty rough for him.
Yeah. Especially, like, the part where they got shot really was so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like, because, again, you like, with the squibs, you see the blood squirting out, and it's a lot.
It was pretty graphic. I feel like it's more graphic than the show has been in a while.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Not used to it anymore.
I was used to just the butts, you know? The asses.
Just the butts.
Well, anyway, that concludes our episode on Season 4, Episode 6, The Good Samaritan.
So good. Oh my god.
So good. Next time, we'll be covering Season 4, Episode 7, The Deals with Our Devil, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, bye.
Bye, love you.